For the if statement, formula, we want to look at a formula in Excel that analyzes the content of a single cell or analyzes the content of a single cell and compares them against a condition that you've set. So you're going to analyze the content of a cell, compare it with the condition that you've set, and if the condition is met, then a true value statement or formula is going to be brought by the a function. But if the condition is not met, then you're going to get a single false value statement or formula. Now, look at it this way. You are analyzing some scores of students after giving them a test. You have set a pass mark of 50%. And you tell the formula that you condition it that if a student's score surpasses 50%, then the formula should return pass. But if a student scores below 50%, the formula should return fail. So that is an if statement formula that I want us to try out. Now look at this, a syntax. If the cell to be analyzed is greater than or equal to the condition, greater than or equal to the condition, then you're going to get a true value which can be an answer which can be a value, a statement, or a formula. Otherwise, you're going to get a negative or a false value, which can also be a statement or a formula at the end of the day. And we have an example here that we want to use for analyzing the if statement. Assume that you're working on analysis of results. You have set a pass mark of 50. Now the formula should return pass if a student scores above 50%. Otherwise, it should return fail on any score below 50%. Now the data that has been provided for analysis is as what you see up achieved. So we start with the scores, but we'll also be adding age later on. It's a place for age status. But here we want to start with the score remarks. Then you're going to do the age status. Now the condition have been summarized here for score. Above 50, pass. Below 50, fail. Now for age, above 20, youth. Below 20, teen. So we start with the remark here. We start with the remark. Equal sign on remark. If, double click, or you can use tab key. Now we are analyzing the scores. So if this score, this particular score here, is greater than or equal to, so use greater than or equal to. Of course, if the pass mark is 50 and I've scored 50, it means I've passed. So if that is greater than or equal to 50%, so you'll write 50%. If that is greater than or equal to 50%, comma. Now, since our answer is a statement, statements should be put in double quotation marks. You can see statements are put in double quotation marks. But if it's a value or a formula, then it doesn't need the double quotation marks. So if you score above 50%, then the formula should return pass. So double quotation is shift, and mine is shift and where I see the @ sign. Some computers will accept shift and where you see true, where you see the double quotation. So try those two. So is it shift and where you see the @ sign, or shift and where you see number 2? Which one works? If I do shift and where I see the double quotation, it gives me the @ sign. But if I do shift and where I see the @ sign, it gives me the quotation marks. So I'm using shift and where I see the @ sign to give me the double quotation. Then pass, you will write pass, close the quotation. Now don't use apostrophes. Apostrophes are not double quotations. Apostrophes are not double quotations, so don't use them. You simply do shift and double quotation. Double quotation, you do comma, comma, then again fail. So double quotation again, then you write fail, close, then close the bracket. Close the bracket. If you hit enter, you will get your answer. If you hit enter, you can see the answer is pass. The answer is pass. Copy down. Copy down means you drag down and you'll get your other answers. Some people have passed, some other people have failed. So that is how we do the first if statement. We now do the age status. Age status. Age status. Now, age status is about if you're above 20 years or if you're below 20 years. Youth, teen. So equal sign, if, double click on the if, then click on the age. Age is here on cell C18. So if C18 for the age is greater than or equal to 20, so if that is greater than or equal to 20, what should be the answer? Youth. Youth should be in quotation marks. So you put youth in quotation marks, comma. If that is not the case, that one should be a teen. Teen should also be in quotation marks. That's how you get the other one. Enter, then drag down. Enter, then you drag down. You can see that you get the answer. Some people are teens, some people are youth. Now that is a basic one. We move to another one. Another example is just hapo chini. Using the above examples again, give students who have scored 50% and above an award. So we are moving down. We are done with the first one. We are now moving on the second one. The award should be students' age times 1,000. But if one doesn't qualify for an award, the formula should return no award. So if you don't qualify for the award, the formula should return no award. Now there's a formula there. Remember the one that we've done up there were just about statements. And from the example or from the syntax, it can either be a statement, a formula, or a value. So we are going to do a formula here on this other one. Equal sign. So we start with an equal sign, then if, tab key, or you double click on the if. So they said, if you score above 50%, so if the cell that has 65, that is the D37, if D37 is greater than, if D37 is greater than or equal to 50%, greater than or equal to 50%, comma, greater than or equal to 50%, comma. If that happens, they say that we take, if you score above 50, the award should be your age times 1,000. You see, age times 1,000. So we are going to say if that is the case, then take the age times 1,000. So after the comma, you click on the age. After the comma, you click on the age of 20 times 1,000. Don't use quotation marks because formulas and values don't have quotation marks. So if you get more than 50%, you take your age times 50% times 1,000. Otherwise, quotation because no award is the answer. No award. No award. Close the quotation, close the bracket. Close the quotation, then you also close the bracket for no award. So you enter, then the first person is getting 20K, other people will be getting nothing. There are those who will not be going home. Now, nested if. we also move to the nested if statement. Now for nested if statement, unlike the one that we've just done up there, here is a scenario where you pass a value through a series of conditions, not just one condition. Now in the other one, we were testing against one condition. But in this second one, the nested if, you are testing a value or whatever you are testing against very many conditions. For instance, the grading scale. You know the grading scale, that if you score 60, then it will be passed through all those scales. Then it settles on a B, on a C, or an A, or whichever you scored in that setting. That is where the nested if now comes in. Or you can decide to analyze and classify things into high risk, low risk, or whichever you are classifying that into using the nested if statement. So we have an example for nested if. Samora Michelle is a data analysis expert and has been contracted to analyze the performance of students. Now, in his analysis, he has outlined the following grading scale for use. Now, the grading scale are on the right side. These are the grading scales. Now, use the conditions stipulated to grade the following results. Now, these are the conditions, and we want to grade these results that you see here. You can see there's a scenario for A, B, C, D, and E. There's also a scenario for distinction all the way to fail. Now we start with the grade, the A, B, C, Ds. And we are analyzing those marks that you see there. Equal sign, if, tab. So equal sign, if, then tab. Tab means you double click so that you arrive at what we have there. This cell, the C65 is the 45. If that cell is greater than or equal, now the conditions are here, greater than or equal, then you just write 75. So if that cell is greater than or equal to 75, greater than or equal to 75, comma, the answer should be a B. So B should be in quotation marks, capital B. No, not capital B, but capital A. So if it is greater than 75, comma, then into the quotation marks, A. So you can see into the quotation marks there, A. Now the other formulas are going to be like that, only changing a few things. Then, comma, if again, you do another if, the same cell, if the same cell is greater than or equal to 60, 60 is the second condition. 60 is the second condition. So if it is greater than or equal to 60, comma, the answer should be B. So B in quotation mark. Just like that until we finish, comma. Again, if the same cell, C65, is greater than or equal to 50, 50 is the next condition, from what we see, comma, then the answer should be C. The answer should be C, if it is greater than or equal to 50. Again, comma, if the same cell, which is C65, is greater than or equal to D. Now, is equal to greater than or equal to 30, not D, but greater than or equal to 30, comma, then the answer should be D. The answer should be D. Now, don't do the last one. The last one will come by default. So you say otherwise, after doing all those things, otherwise the answer should be E. So you just write E in quotation. So if the others are not met, it will be E after C. Okay, I'll be repeating that after C. Because once you are done, you count the number of brackets open, like 1, 2, 3, 4. We are closing with 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you enter. Because we'll be repeating that. Then you can see that we have the grading scale in play. Now for the other part, for remarks, the same thing, same thing. Just that instead of using A, B, C, D to E, you use distinction, credit, pass, refer, and fail. It's basically the same thing. And I want us to do it this way. Since it's a repetition, click on where D is. Just click there once, the first D. Then go to the formula bar. Formula bar is where you see FX up there. You must see the formula bar. We are copying this. If you can copy the entire things here, copy like that. Select, you select, then do Control C, or you can right click and select copy. If you want, you can right click and select copy so that you are copying the same formula. Copy, then you enter. After copying, you enter the keyboard. Make sure you after copying, you enter. Okay, we said that you click on where there is D, you will see the formula on the formula bar. So you select, then you can right click, or if you know how to do Control C, you do Control C. I've done Control C, or you can right click and select copy. Then you enter. Before you do anything, you enter, then go to remarks, just below remarks, and right click and paste. So I'm just copying and pasting. Same thing. You will see the same D here as the formula has been copied. The formula has been copied. Same thing. Paste. What has paste done? This D here. Double click on this D. Now change where there is, don't rub any other thing. Where there is A, write distinction. Don't rub those quotations. Toa A, weke a distinction. Distinction. Toa B, weke a credit. Don't interfere with the quotations. Toa C, weke a pass. Toa D, weke a refer. Then unatoa E, unaweka fail. So you simply changed those things from A, B, C, D, and E to distinction, credit, pass, refer, and fail. Remember, we are just interfering with the A, B, C, Ds and replacing them with the other remarks for distinction, credit, pass, refer, and fail.
Kindly rudia hapo kwa kucopy paste the formula.
Copy pasting the formula. So after that, those who have finished, you enter, then you will drag down like this. Then it will give you the other answers. Now, Kamau, Mr. Caleb Kamau is a risk strategist and is working on risks classification assignment given by the Department of Risk Management and Mitigation. He has classified risk into high risk, moderate risk, and low risk. Risk is measured on the basis of variance, which is obtained by getting the square of standard deviation. Now, the following is to be used for analysis by applying the nested if statement formula, of course. Now, the conditions have been summarized alongside that. These are the conditions. Now, variance is equal to the square of standard deviation, as we can see. Variance is the square of standard deviation. Now, if it's greater than 7, it's high risk. Greater than 5, moderate risk. Less than 5 is a low risk. Remember, risk is measured on the basis of standard deviation. So we have on the basis of variance. Here it is. Risk is measured on the basis of variance. So start by getting variance. Variance is the square of standard deviation. So square the standard deviation by saying equal sign. Then click on the standard deviation raised to power 2. So equal sign, click on this, raised to the power of 2. Raised to the power of 2. That way. Enter. Copy down. That way. So we have shares, bonds, debentures, swaps, currencies, gold, options, euro currency, cryptos, natural gas, and also LPG gas. or investments. Status, now we use the if statement here. If more than 7, high risk. More than 5, but less than 7, moderate. Less than 5, low. Equal sign, if, and double click on the if. Double click on the if. If the variance, this is the variance, if this variance is greater than or equal to, you can see the condition, greater than or equal to 7. If the variance is greater than or equal to 7, the answer should be high risk. So quotation high risk. Quotation high risk. High risk. Comma. Again, if tab. I have messed, but it's okay. If again, the same cell, now the same cell, if it refuses to be clicked on, it should be E88. I think I cannot click here because it's aligned on the left. So if it's if I cannot be able to click, I can type manually. It is E88. The same cell, E88. You can just type E88 if yours is also aligned on the left. It's hiding cell E88 greater than or equal to 5. Greater than or equal to 5, the answer should be, in quotation, moderate risk. Moderate risk. Moderate risk. Now finally, doesn't require the if. The answer should be low risk. The answer should be low risk, like that. How many brackets are open? 1, 2. That way. Low risk should be in double quotation. Low risk should be in double quotation. So if you cannot click on the E88, it means your cell was aligned on the left or on the middle. So it's hiding where I would have clicked. That one gives you an answer of moderate risk, which can always be copied down to get the other answers. Logical if statements, they make use of and, or you can also use not. And means that all conditions must be met. Or means that if you meet any of the conditions, then you are fine. A job is advertised, they say you must have finished Form 4 and you must be 25 years and above. And so you must meet both conditions. So if you are 30 years, which of course you qualify because you are above 25, but you did not finish Form 4, that means you cannot apply for that job. Now, if you finished Form 4 but you are 22 years, again, you cannot apply for the job. The job is for those who finished Form 4 and they are also 25 years and above. That is and, if you use and. But if you use or, it means if somebody is 30 years but doesn't have Form 4, then it means they can apply for the job. So here we'll be doing if and also if or in our analysis. So we go straight to the practical example, which we have pale chini. Moringa School. Now, Moringa School of Computing plans on taking its students for an academic exposure trip at Microsoft PLC in the US. Now, the basis of selection has been broken down into 3 criteria: performance, discipline, and age. If all the conditions are met, if you meet all conditions, the formula should return accepted. Now, failure to meet any of the conditions returns denied. Now, we are going to use the following data and to also use the if and statement just to find out students that are going accepted or denied. If you meet all the conditions, accepted. If you fail to meet, denied. That is as easy as that. Now, later on, you'll be talking about allowance. If you meet all the conditions, your allowance to go to US will be your performance times 1,000. So that is under allowance. Failure to meet any, you don't get any allowance. So it's here on trip. So we start with the trip, then we'll be doing allowance. Equal sign, if, then tab. Equal sign, if, and tab. And now after doing tab or double clicking on the if, you do and. Then again, double click on the and. You can see equal sign if bracket and bracket. If you are behind, we are starting again. We are saying that you do equal sign if tab. Tab means you double click. Then you bring in and, again tab, double click. So you have that. So if this 94, that is the performance, that is D126, is greater than or equal to. Now you can see the conditions are here. If the performance is greater than or equal to 85, so we are writing 85. If the performance is greater than or equal to 85, comma. If the discipline, so click on the discipline is greater than or equal to 70. If the discipline is greater than or equal to 70, comma. And finally, the age is greater than or equal to 18. So if and performance is greater than 85, discipline is greater than 70, and the age is greater than 18, now close the bracket. Remember to use greater than or equal to. Close the bracket, comma. So close the bracket, then comma. There are two things, accepted and denied. Both of them are statements, and therefore if you meet all the conditions after the comma, quotation accepted, close the quotation, comma, quotation denied. Again, close the quotation for denied, then you close the bracket. That is for the tree. If you meet all those conditions, you are either accepted. If you don't meet any, then you'll be denied, as we see in the formula. Now you see that if you enter, it returns accepted. Then as you drag down the formula, you will see all the other answers that are indicated. Then you are supposed to enter. Then you can see accepted, then you move down like this. Now I hope you know how to copy and paste, because you're also going to copy and paste from this side to the other side, unless we want to repeat everything. You simply click on the first accepted. Click on the first accepted. By the way, how many people are accepted? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 people have been accepted. 6 people have been accepted. Now, why do you think Janet has been denied? Yet this score performance is 100, discipline is 95, the highest of any, but age is 16. You see, and means you must meet all the conditions. So we want to copy this, accepted, this one here. And if you want, you can double click, or you just click here, then go to the formula bar up there. Make sure this time around you can copy. So we are copying all this, or you can just click anywhere and do Control A. It will also select. If you know how to use keyboard shortcuts, you'll do Control C. I've already copied, by the way. Or you can right click and select copy, no problem. Before you do anything, you enter. So don't go clicking inside here before entering once the cell is active. You just enter first, that way. Then now it can paste here below allowance, do Control V. And we have the same accepted. Yeah, or you can right click and select paste. Did you manage? Okay. Now double click on the newly accepted under allowance, because we are changing at the end only. At the end. Remove the denied all the way to remove the denied and accepted. Just remain with the comma after the comma. Close bracket, then comma. That's where we are. We have not removed everything. You've removed everything. Now this time round, if you meet all the conditions, then your allowance will be performance times 1,000. Performance times 1,000. So I want, after the comma, click on performance. Performance is D what? D126. So you click on the performance and multiply with 1,000. That way, multiply with 1,000. Otherwise, 0. So it will be comma, then 0. Then close bracket. So if you meet all the conditions, your allowance will be performance times 1,000. Otherwise, you go home empty-handed with a 0. That way, enter. I expect an answer of 94K. Then copy down. Copy down that way. Some people are denied. Those denied in a letter nil. If somebody is denied, you can see that there is no answer that they are going to get. That's why you can see nil that way. Emma has suffered. So we are remaining with less than 3 minutes. We'll be done for the day. So only a small part remains for the question. Now, for the last one, the difference between and or. The difference between if and if or in the formula is that and is just and or. So we are copying the same formula. Same formula. So now, as I said, they are saying here, if you scroll down, they are saying redo the above using if or. So we are redoing the same thing using if or, and will not be starting or repeating everything again. Now, this copying will now be easy. I hope we'll both manage. The copying that I want to do next is very easy. Go to YAPU, the if and that we've done. You see the above accepted and 94,000. Select the two like this. Yes, the way you can select two cells like this. That way. Just that. And Control C. Control C is copying. Or you can right click and select copy. If you copy, it will start dancing like that. It will start dancing like that. Then you scroll down where there is redo the above question, and you will see redo the above question. Click below trip and do Control V, or you can right click and paste. You can right click and pick the first paste. Now you can see what we have. It looks the same, but we want to remove and replace it with or. So double click on accepted. Double click on accepted. Naona hiyo and toa, just remove and alone and put there or. Then tab, double click on the or. Same to 94. Toa hiyo and weke hiyo or, then do that. Okay, so tumetoa and tumeweka or. This one now reads or. The other one also reads or instead of and. Yes. So we've removed the and we've replaced that with the or. So let us clear this first before I stop that recording. So you will, once you are done, we will copy this down again. Then you also copy this other one down. Now check out. Is Janet denied? Now Janet is accepted, in fact, getting the highest amount. So many people have been accepted. If you are denied, people like Lexi, Zilpa, Charles, Ahmed, and Pendo is because they did not meet anything. They did not meet performance, they did not meet discipline, they did not meet age. That is when you are denied under the if or statement. So that is it. If there is any question from